Today I'll start reading the book Monster by Walter Dean Myers. Here we go. The best time to cry is at night when the lights are out and someone is being beaten up and screaming for help. That way, even if you sniffle a little, they won't hear you. If anyone knows that you are crying, they'll start talking about it, and soon it'll be your turn to get beat up when the lights go out. There is a mirror over the street sink in my cell, 6 inches high, and scratched with the names of some guys who were here before me. When I look into that small rectangle, I see a face looking back at me, but I don't recognize it. It doesn't look like me. It couldn't have changed that much in a few days, months. I wonder if I would look like myself when the trial is over. This morning at breakfast, a guy got hit in the face with a tree. Someone said some little thing, and somebody else got mad. There was blood all over the place. The guards came over. And made us line up against the wall. The guy was sitting near the table while they waited for another guard to lead them on up close. The guards came. The guards put them on, handcuffed the guy, and then took him to the dispenser. He was still bleeding pretty bad. They say you get used to being in jail, but I don't see how. Every morning I wake up and I am surprised to be here. Your life outside was real, and everything in here was just the opposite. We sleep with strangers, wake up with strangers, we go to the bathroom in front of strangers. They're strangers, but they still find reasons to hurt each other. Sometimes I feel like I have walked into the middle of a movie. A strange movie with no plot and no beginning. The movie's in black and white and grainy. Sometimes the camera moves in so close that you cannot tell what is going on, and you just listen to the sounds and guess. I have seen movies of prisons, but never ones like this. This is not a movie about bars and locked doors. It's about being alone when you're not really alone and being scared all the time. I think to get used to this, I'll have to give up what I think is real and take up something else. I wish I could make sense of it. Maybe I can make my own movie. I could write it out and play it in my head. I could block out the scenes like we did in school. A film will be the story of my life. No, not my life, but of this experience. I'll write it down in a notebook they let me keep. I'll call it what the lady who was the prosecutor called me. Monster. Monster. Fading interior. Early morning in cell. Block D. Manhattan Detention Center. Camera goes slowly down grim gray corridor. Sounds of inmates yelling from cell to cell. Much of it is obscene. Most of the voices are clearly black or Hispanic. Camera starts slowly toward the cell. Interior cell. 16-year-old Steve Harmon is sitting on the edge of a metal cot, head in hands. He is thin, brown-skinned. On the cot next to him, under suit and tie, he is to wear a court for the start of his trial. Cut to Ernie, another prisoner, sitting on John, pants down. Cut to Sunset, another prisoner, putting on t-shirts. Cut to Steve, putting blanket over his head as screen goes dark. Voiceover. Ain't no use putting a blanket over your head, man. You can't cut this out. This is reality. This is the real deal. Voiceover continues with an anonymous prisoner explaining how the detention center is the real thing. As he does, words appear on the screen just like the opening credits of the movie Star Wars, rolling from the bottom of the screen and streaking onto the air, a blur on top of the screen before rolling off into space. Monster. Story of My Miserable Life. Starring Steve Harmon. Produced by Steve Harmon. Directed by Steve Harmon. Credits continue to roll. The incredible story of how one guy's life was turned around by a few events and how he might spend the rest of his life behind bars. Told as it actually happened. Written and directed by Steve Harmon. Featuring Sandra Petroselli as the dedicated prosecutor, Kathy O'Brien as the defense attorney with doubts, James King as the thug, Richard Bobo Evans as the rat, Osvaldo Cruz, member of the Diablos as the tough guy wannabe, Laurel Henry as the witness, Jose Delgado, he found the body, and starring 16-year-old Steve Harmon as the boy on trial for murder. Filmed at the Manhattan Detention Center. Set designs, handcuffs, and prison outfits by the state of New York. Voice silent. Over. Yo, Harmon, you gonna eat something? Come on and get your breakfast, man. I'll take your eggs if you don't want them. You want them? I'm not hungry. Sunset. His trial starts today. He up for the big one. I know how that feels. Cut to an interrogated corrections department van. Through the bars at the rear of the van, we see people going about the business of their lives in downtown New York. There are men collecting garbage, female traffic officers motioning for a taxi to make a turn, students on their way to school. Few people notice the van as it makes its way from the detention center to the courthouse. Cut to prisoners handcuffed, coming from the back of the van. Steve is carrying a notebook. He is dressed in a suit and tie as we saw on the cot. He is seen only briefly as he is herded through the heavy doors of the courthouse. Fade out as last prisoner from the van enters the rear of the courthouse. Fade in, interior courthouse. We are in a small room used for prisoner lawyer interviews. The guard sits at the desk behind Steve. Kathy O'Brien, Steve's lawyer, is petite, red-haired, and freckled. She is all business as she talks to Steve. O'Brien, let me make sure you understand what is going on. Both you and this King character are on trial for felony murder. Felony murder is as serious as it gets. Sandra Petroselli is a prosecutor, and she is good. They're pushing for the death penalty, which is really bad. The jury might think they're doing you a big favor by giving you life in prison. So you better take this trial very, very seriously. When you're in court, you sit there and you pay attention. You let the jury know that you think this case is as serious as they do. Don't turn and wave to any of your friends. It's alright to acknowledge your mother. I have to go and talk to the judge. The trial will begin in a few minutes. Is there anything you want to ask me before it starts? You think we're going to win? Asked Steve. O'Brien seriously. It probably depends on what you mean by win. Cut to interior. Hollywood. Steve sitting on one end of the bench against the opposite wall, dressed in a sloppy-looking suit, as 23-year-old James King. The other man is 23-year-old James King, the other man on trial. King looks older than 23. He looks over at Steve with a hard look, and you see Steve look away. Two guards sit at a table away from the prisoners who are handcuffed. The camera finds the guards in a medium shot. They have their breakfast in a long night takeout trays that contain eggs, sausage, and potatoes. A black female stenographer pours coffee for herself and the guards. We hope this case lasts 2 weeks. I consider this the money. Guard 1, 6 days, maybe 7. It's a motion case. They go to the lawsuits and they lock them up. Turn to the guards. Camera towards Steve. Ain't that right, Bright Eyes? Up to Steve, who sits on a low bench. He is handcuffed to a U-boat, on the bench for that purpose. Steve looks away from the guard. Cut to the door. It opens and guard clerk looks in. 2 minutes. Cut to guards who hurriedly finish breakfast. Stenographer takes machine into courtroom. They unshackle Steve and take him towards the door. Cut to Steve is made to sit down at one table. Another table, we see King and 2 attorneys. Steve sits alone. The guard stands behind him. There are 1 and 2 spectators in the court, then 4 more enter. Close-up of Steve Harvey. The fear is evident on his face. Then this. People are getting ready for the trial to begin. Kathy O'Brien sits next to Steve. How are you doing? Steve, I'm scared. O'Brien, good, you should be. Anyway, just remember what we've been talking about. The judge is going to rule on a motion that King's lawyer made to suppress proof of testimony and a few other things. Steve, let me tell you what my job is here. My job is to make sure the laws work for you as well as against you, and to make you a human being in the eyes of the jury. Your job is to help me. The questions you have, write them down and I'll try to answer them. What are you doing then? I'm writing this whole thing down as a movie. Steve, O'Brien, whatever. Make sure you pay attention. Close attention. VO, court guard. All rise. The judge enters and sits behind bench. He is tall and thin. He pushes his fingers through wisps of white hair and looks over the courtroom before sitting. He is a 60-year-old New York judge and already looks bored with the case. The court guard signals for people to sit. Prosecution ready? Sandra Petroselli, the prosecutor, stands. She is dressed in a gray business suit. She looks intense while still being attractive. Her hair and eyes are dark. Ready, Your Honor. Defense. Asa Briggs, the lead counsel for the defendant James King, stands. He is dressed in a dark blue suit and a light blue tie. His eyes are also blue and his hair is white. Briggs, ready. O'Brien, ready, Your Honor. Judge, all right. I'll, I'll make this. I'm running this kid's testimony is admissible. You can bring this up to your motions relative to that ruling this afternoon, or if there's a break. Hope everyone had a good 4th of July. Briggs, the use of barbecue in the softball game that reminded me that I can't run anymore. O'Brien, with all the fireworks, it's my least favorite holiday. Judge, bring in the jury. Cut to film workshop at Stuyvesant High School. The film on a small screen is just ending. It is a class project and the camera is shaky. He watches a girl on the screen walk slowly away. Screen goes black and dazzling white, then normal as lights go on. We see Mr. Sawicki, film coordinator, and 9 students who are casually dressed. Sawicki, in a jury competition, the ending would have hurt this piece, but otherwise it was interesting. Any comments? You see Steve raising his hand, looking much the same as he does in courts. Steve, I liked the ending. Sawicki, well, I didn't say it was bad, but wasn't it predictable? You need to predict without predicting. You know what I mean? When you make a film, you leave an impression on the viewers, who serve as a kind of jury for your film. If you make your film predictable, they'll make up their minds about it long before it's over. Cut to courtroom. We see the jurors filling in and taking their seats. Steve to attorney. You think they look alright? O'Brien. They are what we have for a jury. We have to deal with them. Cut to Long Salt of Preto Shirley. She stands at the podium in front of the jury. She smiles at the jurors and some smile back. Preto Shirley. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sandra Petroselli, and I'm an assistant district attorney for the state of New York. I'm representing the people in this matter, which you were informed of during jury selection in a case of felony murder. We're here today basically because it's not a perfect world. The founding fathers of our country understood this. They knew that there would be times and circumstances during which our society would be threatened by the acts of individuals. This is one of these times. A citizen of our city, a citizen of our state and country has been killed by people who attempted to rob them. To safeguard our society, a system of laws has been created. You, the jury, are part of this system of laws. I represent the state of New York and am part of that system, as are the judge and all the participants in this trial. I will do my best to bring you the facts of this case, and I know you will do your best to judge the merits of the case. Most people in our community are decent, hard-working citizens who pursue their own interests legally and without infringing on the rights of others. But there are also monsters in our communities. People who are willing to steal and to kill. People who disregard the rights of others. On the 22nd of December of last year, at approximately 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 men entered the drugstore on 145th Street in Harlem. The state would contend that one of these men was Richard Bobo Evans. The state would contend that the other man who entered the store at the time and who participated in the robbery and the murder was James Keene. I decided to point to the table at which James King sits. Mr. King is a man who is sitting at that table, who is wearing a brown suit and is sitting at the right of the table. You were introduced to him during jury selection process. He is one of the men on trial here today. First, these are the two men entering the store, and that money was very simple. They were going to rob the owner, 55-year-old Argo Renato Nesbitt. They saw that although the two men did not have a gun with them, the owner of the store did have a gun, for which he had a license and used it to defend his property. Mr. Evans, who participated in the robbery, will testify that there was a struggle, which resulted in the gun being discharged and Mr. Nesbitt being killed. Mr. Nesbitt had every right to defend his property, every right not to be robbed. We all had that right. Further, there would be evidence that prior to the robbery there was a plan or conspiracy to rob the store. Mr. Evans and Mr. King were to enter the store and do the actual robbery. Another of the plaintiffs of this crime was to stand outside the drugstore and impede anyone chasing the robbers. The young man who had this assignment will testify to his role in the affair. Yet another of the conspirators, the planners of this robbery that left on man dead, was to go into the store prior to the robbery to check it out, to make sure there were no police in the store, to make sure that the coast was clear, as they say. Two of the conspirators would testify to their understanding of this fact. The man who wants to enter the store and check it out is sitting at the other table. His name is Steve Harmon. Cut out Steve Harmon. Then cut and CEO of the panda in front of him. He is writing the word monster over and over again. A white hand of Brian takes a pencil from his hand and crosses out all the monsters. You have to believe in yourself. If we're going to convince Joy that you're innocent, Patu and Mason, Prince said, a medical examiner will testify to the cause of death. Destroying of the gunshot wound was fatal. Even though it was Mr. Nesbitt's gun, it was not Mr. Nesbitt who caused his own death. This was no suicide. This death was a direct result of no robbery. Very simply put, this is a case of murder. It is, moreover, a murder committed during the felonious act. Two defendants receive a warning and be shown to be participants in that act and are being charged with felony murder. Later, the judge will give you instructions on how to consider the evidence presented. But there is no doubt in my mind, and I believe that by the end of this trial there will be little doubt in yours, that these two men, James King and Steve Harmon, were all part of the robbery that caused the death of Renato Nesbitt. Thank you. Dr. Ellis of court. Brian is at the service podium. Cut to Steve's mother. On one bench in the gallery, listening intently. Her face looks worried. O'Brien, the state currently states that the laws of the society provide protection for its citizens. When a crime is committed, it is the state that must apply the law in a manner that offers redress and that brings the guilty parties to justice. But the laws also protect the accused, and that is the wonder and beauty of the American system of justice. We don't drag people out of the bench in the middle of the night and lynch them. We don't torture people. We don't beat them. We apply the law equally to both sides. The law that protects society protects all of society. In this case, we all saw that evidence in the state will produce is seriously flawed. We all saw not only that there is room for reasonable doubt, and you will hear more about that at the end of this trial, that the doubt that Steve Harmon has committed any crime at all, is overwhelming. As Mr. Harmon's attorney, or as you, the jury, that you look at Steve Harmon now, and remember that at this moment the American system of justice demands that you consider him innocent. He is innocent until proven guilty. Consider him innocent now, and by law you must. If you are not prejudice him, then I don't believe we will have a problem convincing you that nothing the state will provide will challenge that innocence. Thank you. Cut to Briggs. Briggs. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Asa Briggs, and I will be defending Mr. King. Miss Francis Shelley, representing the state, has presented this case in a very broad and grandiose terms, but you will soon see that her key witnesses are among the most self-serving, heartless people I've met to. Some of them will begin their testimonies by swearing that they are criminals. They will have the unpleasant task of listening to people who have committed crimes, who have lied and stolen, and at least one instance has been admitted, and let me emphasize this, an admitted accomplice to murder. But in the end, you will have the opportunity to judge the state's key witnesses and to deliver a just verdict. What I'm asking you to do is just that. Judge what they bring up on the witness stand, and then deliver your just verdict. Thank you. Cut to the witness stand. Jose Delgado is on the stand. He is young, very well built, and articulate. Jose, I'm on until 9. The store closes at 9. So in the afternoon I am to go home and grab a bite or go out with Chinese. That's why that night I went out for Chinese. Usually I get something and eat it in the back. When I went out, everything was okay. Sunny, what time did you leave this drugstore? 4:30, maybe 4:35 at the least. And what did you discover upon your return? First, I didn't see anything, which I knew was weird because Mr. Nesbitt wouldn't leave the place empty. I went around behind the counter and I saw Mr. Nesbitt on the floor. There was blood everywhere and the cash register was open. A lot of cigarettes were missing too, maybe 5 cartons. They didn't call the police. Jose did. Yeah, but I knew Mr. Nesbitt was dead. Peter said, Mr. Delgado, are you familiar with the so-called martial arts? Jose, that's my hobby. I have a black belt in karate. Dr. Sully, it's a fact pretty well known in the neighborhood. In which the drugs were offering, Jose, yeah, because whenever I was in the Mets and it made the papers, Mr. Nesbitt used to put the paper in the window. Dr. Sully, did police ever visit the drugstore? Jose, sometimes they would come in and sneak a smoke. Dr. Sully, nothing further. Briggs, you say that 5 cartons of cigarettes were missing. That's right. Briggs, 5, not 6. Jose, afterward I checked the inventory. It was 5. Briggs, what medical school did you attend? Jose, none. Briggs, but you said you knew that Mr. Nesbitt was dead. You were sure of it. That right? Jose, pretty sure. Briggs, sure enough to stop and do inventory before trying to help your boss? Jose, I didn't take inventory right away. I just noticed. You work in the store and you notice if something is missing. Briggs. How long did it take? Jose pissed. I don't remember. Briggs. Nothing for me. O'Brien. No questions. Petrocellius. Jose steps down. The snake calls Salvatore Zinzi. Cut to Sal Zinzi on the stage. He is nervous, slightly overweight. He wears thick glasses, which he touches over and over again as he testifies. Petrocelli, Mr. Zinzi, where were you when you first became involved with this case? Zinzi, Rikers Island. Petrocelli, why were you there? Zinzi, stolen property. A guy sold me some baseball cards. They were stolen. Petrocelli, you knew they were stolen? Zinzi, yeah, I guess. Petrocelli, while you were at Rikers Island, did you engage in a certain conversation with a Wendell Bowden? Zinzi, yes, ma'am. Petrocelli, you want to tell me about the conversation? Zinzi, he said he knew about a drugstore holdup where a guy was killed, and he was thinking of turning the guy into get a break. Petrocelli, and what did you do as a result of this conversation? Zinzi, I called Detective Gluck and told him what I knew. Petrocelli, because you wanted a break too, is that right? Zinzi, yeah. Petrocelli, so Boland told him he knew about the crime. Was there anything else? Zinzi, that was it. Petrocelli, did he tell you about some cigarettes? Yeah, he breaks objection. She's leaving. Petrocelli, what's wrong? What else did he tell you? That he got some cigarettes from this guy. 2 cartons. Petrocelli, did he tell you the name of the person he got the cigarettes from? Zinzi, no, he was sure the guy who was involved in the holdup. Petrocelli, nothing further. Cut to Briggs at the podium. Briggs, you wanted a break, Mr. Zinzi. Why did you need a break? You only had a few months to do, isn't that right? Zinzi, some guys were sexually harassing me, sir. Briggs, sexually harassing? Were they calling you a sissy? What does sexually harass mean to you? Zinzi, they wanted to have sex with me. Briggs, so to save yourself from being gang raped, is that what they wanted to do to you? Zinzi, yeah. Briggs, and you are afraid? Zinzi, yeah. Briggs, you are afraid and you would have said just about anything to get out of that situation. Isn't that right? Zinzi, I guess so. Briggs, would you lie? No. Briggs, let me get this straight, Mr. Zinzi. You buy stolen goods for profit. Right on somebody to save your whole life, but you're too good to lie, is that right? Zinzi, I'm not lying now. Briggs, as a matter of fact, this Walden was going to see what he can get out of this, but he's still on his chance too, didn't he? Zinzi, I guess. Briggs, no further questions. O'Brien, Mr. Zinzi, how long were you in jail? Zinzi, 43 days. O'Brien, if he went in jail, look for stories to report to the police. For the sudden comment. Objection, the question is too vague. O'Brien, well, let me put it this way, Mr. Zinzi. This Mr. Bowling was going to use this story for his own benefit, is that right? Zinzi, right. And you decided to use it for your benefit. Zinzi, Right. Lots of guys in jail do that. Well, Brian, you use stories and you use people, right? Sometimes. And the outcome and talking with the detective in question is that you are able to reach the district attorney's office and strike a deal. Isn't that right? You are able to strike a deal that got you on the jail order. Isn't that right, Cincy? That's right. O'Brien, you happy with the deal? Cincy, yeah. O'Brien, nothing further. Patricini, Mr. Cincy, do you know when you're lying and when you're telling the truth? Yes, sure. Patricini, you telling the truth now? Cincy, yeah. Patricini, nothing further. Flashback of 12-year-old Steve walking in a neighborhood park with his then friend Tony. Tony, they should let me pitch. I can throw straight as anything. Scoops off a rock. See the lamppost? Throws rock. I see that it bounces in front of the post and creaks slightly to one side. Steve, you can't throw. Picks up rock and throws it. You saw it say it fast apart and hit a young boy. The tough guys who's walking with under seat two young boys. Tough guy. Hey man, who threw that rock? He approaches. Steve. Tony, run. Tony, taking a tentative step. What? Tough guy punches Tony. Tony falls. Tough guy stands over Tony as Steve backs off. Young woman forces tough guy away and they leave. Tony and Steve are left in the park with Tony sitting on the ground. Tony, I didn't throw that rock. You threw it. Steve, I didn't say you threw it. I said run. You should have run. Tony, I'll get me an Uzi and blow his brains out. And that's the end of the reading for the Facebook event. Bye.